Today, I'm with the delectable Mr. Ahmad Lawa, the CEO of Essence, um, Combs. That's your real estate system, right?
City line
City
construction.
line construction. City line construction. This man has well over 500 staff. I know because this is my second interview with him. The first one, we did not cook it well. So, and they gave
He
me
burnt.
a bunch. So he gave me an opportunity to come again. Who does that? My mentor, of course. Good morning, sir.
Good
How are you
morning,
doing?
ma. I'm doing good.
Alhamdulillah. So I'm going to be asking you questions from your early years to now and how you have been able to scale. The first place, why did you start a salon business?
Okay, basically, as I've repeated plenty times, it was born out of the need to create something that will give us daily income because, I'm a civil engineer by training. And so I was into real estate and construction. But, those things come periodically. It's not all the time. You can sell land today. The next 3 months, you have not gotten another land to sell. And maybe somebody gives you a contract to build a house today. After you're done with that, the next 1 year, you might not get another one. So there was a need for us to, do something that would generate daily sales for us. So, I was discussing with my barber then, and he said, she shop for me now. I said, okay, no problem. So we got a space at Zango, Lagos Legacy Energy Filling Station. But my barber then said, no, that all his customers are in GRA, so he cannot leave GRA and come and stay in Zango, that his customers will not come. I did what she shop by, what will we not do? So I just started to run it by myself. And
So you were cutting hair by yourself?
No. I got other barbers and I was managing it. So the initial idea was that he was going to manage it and then we'll do profit sharing. So, if that had happened, I probably would not have really gone into the business in full. But because I had to now be managing it by myself, I understood the intricacies and I felt, okay, this is something that we can take to another level.
But can you cut hair?
No, I cannot.
You cannot cut hair?
I cannot. I cannot do any of the things that they do in the shops. No pedicure, no nails, no fixing, no cutting.
So when you got these other barbers to manage it for you, of course there will be challenges at the beginning. What are the likely challenges that one would encounter when you are going into this kind of creative space and you do not know about it? You don't know how to cut it.
Okay, so our story was very, very interesting in the sense that, like I said, it's not something that I know anything about. And my own was just to walk into salon, cut hair and go. But, because I was forced to have to be hands-on, I had to be learning on the go. So the greatest challenge I had was that the people that I employed then, they were my bosses. So I had to relegate myself for them, and they would tell me all sorts of things, and I'll have to accept it. They'll say, no, this is how they do it. I'll say, okay, I'll be watching. And so what I used to do then was that I would now call somebody from another salon and ask him, how do you people do it in your own place? They say, no, this is how we do it. So I had to learn on the job. So, but I think that it was more of an advantage than a disadvantage, if in retrospect, because, most times, if you do things the way it's done, you will achieve the results that everybody achieves, the same results. But because we didn't know anything about this industry, we did it the way we thought was best to do it. And that was how it was easy for us to have a bit of disruption in the industry. So if we had done it the way all the other barbers had been doing it, would have also been, the regular, barbershop. But because we brought experience from engineering, experience from the corporate sector, experience from civil service, and merged it all into one.
You were in civil service?
Yes, at some point.
At what point did you quit?
Okay, so I wasn't really a full civil servant. I had my COS at NMPC, Gombe area office. So I also had My other COS at Nitel. So it was just a bit of, but it gave me an insight into how things were done in the office setting.
So at what point did you decide that, okay, this is something that is really profitable and I want to expand it, I want to blow it up?
Well, see, for me, my philosophy has always been that there's nothing that is not profitable. There's no single venture that is not profitable. Every venture is profitable depending on how you do it and the perspective that you're looking at it from. You have a lot of billionaires in China who are selling water. That's what they do. Water. If you go and check Forbes list, there's a billionaire there from China whose business is just to sell water. So there's nothing that is not profitable there. So it just depends on how you do it. So the fact that, the sector gave us the opportunity to make money on a daily basis, I knew that, it was something to really go for.
So now, from my knowledge, you have branches in 5 states.
Yes, 10 branches in 5 states.
10 branches in 5 states. Wow. How do you manage 10 branches?
WhatsApp. Call on Mark by WhatsApp.
Call on Mark. So you mean you manage 10 branches with over 500 staff via WhatsApp?
Yes, on my phone. And that's why, I'm always on my phone.
Do you have a physical office?
No, I don't. Personally, I don't. And our management staff too don't have. We have accountants, we have monitor, we have operations manager, we have HR, none of them has a physical office. Everybody
Does that make
works
them feel
from
less important?
I don't think so. I think the importance comes from what they are able to achieve on a daily basis and the status that they know that they have, which is the authority that they have, the authority that comes from the office.
The other day when I was at Essence, I saw the manager. He was on his feet till I left. So I was wondering, it means manager needs to have special.
No, we don't.
Managing.
we don't do that here. Maybe someday we're going to grow to that level, but for now, it's all just WhatsApp.
So how did you secure fund for this expansion? Let me ask you. I'm asking this question. I attended your training where you said we should not take leave.
Yes.
How did you secure fund?
So okay, let me correct that notion. I did not say that blankly don't take loan. I'm saying that before you go and put yourself in that situation, be sure that you need it. There are no other alternatives, and your current business can pay for it. Don't take loan hoping that you will make the money to pay for it. Do you understand? So I am anti-loans. Bank, all my bank people, my account officers, my bank managers, they don't like that part of me. They like me because I give them funds, but they don't like that part of me. So, but I've seen loans ruin a lot of businesses. A lot of businesses have crumbled because they had insatiable greed for loans. And you know what loans do to you? It's just like when you go and borrow money. When you're borrowing it, as the money enters your account, you feel like you own it. And when it's time for you to pay back, you feel like it's your money you are giving back to them. Not remembering that it's actually the person's money giving back to them. So when you take a loan from a bank, it gives you that false sense of growth. You feel that you have gotten...
False sense of growth.
So you start to act out based on your current account balance. Not remembering that.
This with all these petty traders that take all these loans.
Quick loans.
So when they take the loans, their shops will be filled up, and then after a few months, everything will go down.
Because there's no such strategy to pay back. There's no strategy to actually make sure that money that you have injected is circulated and is retained. So I really am anti-loans, but back to your main question, which is that how were we able to fund? So what we have always done is to plow back 99%.
Where will I money to buy potato and turkey?
So, but
you don't want us to eat turkey.
So, but the thing is, you just need to do it for a few years. You need to live up below, way below your means for a few years and put everything back into the business. Then when the business gets to a level where you know that, you will know, I can take so amount away from this business and it's not going to affect productivity, it's not going to affect growth. So, but most people don't want to take that initial, make that initial sacrifice that is required to grow. There was a time when, I keep on saying this because that's just the fact, and there are people that can corroborate it. There was a time when I had 2 stores in the mall, paying over 1 million naira a month in rent, utilities, service charge, and I did not have a car. And at that time, a grade A Toyota Corolla 2012 model was selling for like 2 million naira. So 2 months rent, I could have bought myself, So, but I didn't, because it wasn't what I needed at that time. I needed to grow the business to a level where you can buy a Corolla every day. Do you understand? So,
that's it. A level where you can buy a Corolla every day. That's the level we are going.
Yes. So sacrifice is important.
Aside sacrifice, what other things do you think are...
And so, but let me say this, because it would be hypocritical of me not to mention that when we were going to move from Zongo, a legacy energy filling station, to the mall, there was a need for us to inject more capital into the business. So at that point, I had a Mercedes-Benz C200 that I was driving. My plan was to sell it. I had built my house to lintel level in one bush in Agbabi Akadia. My plan was to sell it also. But unfortunately, or let me not say unfortunately, as Allah will have it, I traveled for a friend's auntie's birthday in Ileshan, and unfortunately, as we were coming back, 5 of us in the car got totaled. We had an accident and the car got condemned. So, and this is what I was planning to use as, startup funds. So I ended up selling the car that was, at that time was what, about 1.5, 1.8. I ended up selling it for, I think, 250, 300,000 as scrap. So that happened. So, it became a problem. The house that I had built up to lintel level, I think I sold then also for like 300,000. And then, fortunately for me, we now got a loan from KCMB, a microfinance bank in Ilorin here. We got that loan, 1 million naira from KCMB. A friend of mine too, who I will never forget, is Hack, also gave me a personal loan. I think it was 1 million also then, or 500,000, I can't remember. I think it was 1 million or 500,000. And then, a lot of, okay, do this for me, I'll pay you after a while, do this for me. Just Interiors at the time did the furniture in the store. It was, one L-shaped couch and all. Did the furniture. I gave him a small amount. I said, okay, when we start, I'll pay you back. So there was a lot of, struggles here and there. But, because we had the goal in mind, we achieved it. And after doing all of that, we had not gotten to the level that we wanted. But, a friend of mine also, who really is the push behind Essence as it is today, Benga Saka, he had a store here in the mall then, Okaza Perfumery. He was the one that came to Zango and dragged me and said, come to the mall, you will make it here. And I thank him every day. So when it's time for you to acknowledge, most people want to say they are self-made. Nobody is self-made. You are made by the effort of others. So, when it's time for you to acknowledge them, acknowledge them. So he also was the one that took me to KCMB to get the loan. So, when we had done all that we had done that we could do, he came to me one day also in the shop, we were doing fittings, and said, look, Ahmad, start with what you have done now. Just start. And the next day we just opened and we started to make sales. I can remember first month, we were making 7,000 naira daily in sales. But today, alhamdulillah, The rest is history. So, long story short, it's going to be a combination of this and that. People that there are some people, somebody like Jeff Bezos of Amazon got a startup capital of over 300,000 from his parents. So that's not small money.
That's a lot of money.
By any means. So there are a lot of ways. You just need to explore all of the avenues that are open to you. Some people even want to take the loan, but they cannot. So what do they do? There was a time that a lady came to me and said that she wanted to start a business. She wanted to be selling, I think it was yogurt or parfait or something, and that she didn't have money. And she was holding an iPhone. I think when she came to me, it was in 2019, and she was holding an iPhone 11 or so. And I was like, this thing you are holding in your hand is the startup capital that you need to start your business. Yeah, I cannot sell my phone.
Don't want to do business.
Do you understand? So somebody like that will be going around looking for a loan when you already have in your hand what you need to start your business. So you just need to evaluate yourself and look at, okay, where can I get money from? And just piece it together and start.
So I would like to ask, because you said you control the business from your phone.
Yes.
I've seen you with 3 phones, and I've seen how you are with phone. How do you balance family and work?
You see, the thing is, this life no balance. So, work-life balance is something that does not really exist. You can't balance life and family. Sometimes you have to give more attention to family than work. And then sometimes you have to tell family, Emma Binu, you give more attention to work than family. So there's not going to be it, especially for somebody who is bootstrapping business or at whatever level that you're doing business. There's not going to be a time when you can give your family and your work 50-50, except if you just want to live a mundane life. You don't have big goals that you really want to attain. Family is going to suffer for work sometimes, and then sometimes you need to pull back and say, look, whatever it takes, I'm going to give my family some time and let work rest first. So also in this age, a lot of us are busy doing nothing. You spend 2 hours on Instagram, 1 hour on Snapchat, 1 hour on Facebook. That's 4 hours already in an 8-hour day, because what we have daily is 8 hours basically to be active. So you have already spent 4 hours out of your 8-hour day, and then when they talk to you, say, I'm so busy, I don't even have time. What are you doing with your time? So you need to manage your time properly. Give more importance to the things that are more important, basically.
Productive with your time.
Exactly.
I want to ask you, is there at any point that you have thought of quitting? I know I've asked you before. Because me, sometimes I used to ask who send me? Ahmad is giving me money for food.
I will.
Every day, he can't
I don't think I've ever found myself in that position where I feel like I should quit. But we need to put quitting also in perspective. Quitting is of different also definitions. For instance, we have entered into a lot of sectors, started a lot of businesses that we pulled out of. So in a manner of speaking, we quit those businesses. Yeah. But to quit business as a whole and say, okay, let me go on. So from the beginning, from when I was tiny, I had it in mind that I was not going to work for anybody. As in majorly to be an employee. It had never crossed my mind that was what I knew, that it would require for me to do short stints in employment to gather experience, to gather capital and all of that. But I have never seen myself as somebody who will remain in someone's employ till retirement. So if I quit, where am I going to go to? So it has never been an option. It has always been, if this doesn't work, we quit it and then try something else. Before we got to the salon thing also, we had done a lot of things. And even after we started the salon thing, we have done a lot of things too.
What business that you prepared? How did it feel? Investing so much and then
I think a lot of them had, so each of them had different reasons for failing. For instance, when we started kiddies, when we started kiddies only, it failed because we didn't have enough capital.
okay.
Majorly, we had the location, we had the client base, we had the goodwill, we had everything, we had the business model, everything was right,
There's no
but
money.
we didn't have enough capital to stock the shelves. So people will come and ask for things, and
There was one food
Kosilini,
business, I
Kosilola,
think
village kitchen, very awesome. He used to pay me.
The grand opening was very grand.
It was, in
Yes.
fact,
The grand
I don't think
opening was very grand.
we've pulled off anything
In
that
fact,
that
and
that beautiful.
When I saw that it has packed up, I was like, what's
I think
going
I think
on?
he packed up in like 6 to 7 months. As beautiful as it was. So what we wanted to do with Village Kitchen was to create somewhere where where you could get every local dish. There was the Hausa dishes, you could get masa, you could get tuwo. There was the Igbo dishes, we had bagaf and soup, everything. There was the Yoruba dishes, we had edikaikon, we had everything. It was a beautiful business model. But unfortunately, I've told myself that I'm never going into food business again, because we've done it twice or thrice and we've gotten our fingers burnt. We did edibles, we had to sell it. We did Village Kitchen, So with Village Kitchen, majorly it was a management problem. I didn't have the time to sit with it and manage it, and so we were losing money from pre-production. So no matter what we will put on the shelves, we were not going to make profit. So because we're losing money from purchasing in the markets. And it was because I did not have time to actually sit down to monitor the business as I should have. So that too is something that, and so because of it, I always advise people who come to me, and especially civil servants or employees, people who work somewhere and have a lot of loose change and say they want to start a business, that if you cannot sit with it, don't go into it.
Business is not a side hustle.
Yes, it is not. It is not.
So I'm going to ask you this last question. There are a lot of people who look up to you, like me.
And there are a lot of people that I look up
Of
to.
course. But I think you have the people that are looking up to you, the numbers are much more. So is there, and they are looking to build this kind of business. What advice do you have for us?
Okay, well, like I have said initially, it's about, number one, understanding the business that you are in. Number two, putting everything back. There's no, except today, and even with startups today that get funding, you will see that a lot of them, after a year, after 2 years, they'll pack up. You got $20 million in funding. So if capital alone was enough to make a business successful, those people should not fail. You see people who get $2 million in funding, $5 million in funding. And after a year, they say that they've declared bankruptcy. So it's not just about funding. It's about you sitting with the business and putting everything back into it. I have never put myself in a position where I have a lot of business models, and based on what we have achieved, the little that we have achieved now, if we were to put something out and say, okay, people should come and contribute to it, let's build a new business, people will come from Nigeria and outside of Nigeria. But I believe that the best way to build a lasting business, start small and grow it gradually. That way you are understanding the challenges that they are in it, and you are adjusting as the challenges come. So you become wiser, you become more experienced, become stronger. But always have, a growth mindset. Start with the end in mind. When we started, especially when we came to the mall, I came to the mall majorly because of scalability that the mall was going to offer me, not because of sales, but because of the fact that once you are in one mall, you can go to another mall, you can go to another mall, you can go to another mall. So that was the major reason. So you need to position yourself to be able to scale. And you need to position yourself as a brand, not as a business. Now, this is a topic for another day, but I'm just going to summarize it by saying that a lot of people are running businesses, not brands. And if you are running a business, you can't grow it to enviable levels. You are going to be making profits that you can put hand to mouth and buy car and do this. It's not going to be something that is great. But if you are building a brand, you have to start by, you see yourself big even when you are small. So the decisions you take, the decisions you make have to be decisions that position you accordingly. I'll give you an instance, even though I know that our time is fast spent. There was a time that we had only one store and our staff revolted, said the percentage that we were giving them was too small, even though as at that time there was no barber in the whole of Ilorin that was earning as much as they were earning. But you know, staff look at what you are earning, forgetting about the expenses that you are going to incur. The rent, our rent was highest by far. We were paying 10 times what any other barbering salon, in fact more than 10 times what any other. So, and a lot of other things. So we couldn't be paying the percentages that others were paying. But you know, if somebody has a business mindset, you say, if all of my staff go, the business is shorter, where will I? And then you now capitulate. But it's not going to help the brand because of where you're going to. And if you start with that now, how do you sustain it over a long period of time? I sacked all of them because I know where I am going to, and I'm not building for today. I'm building for tomorrow. So I said, look, everybody should go home. I don't want to see anybody again. By tomorrow, anybody who resumes to work, I know that the person is ready to work. Anybody who does not resume, I know that they are not ready to work. So, and I could take that decision because I know where I am going. We had a staff handbook when we started, and we gave everybody this. So you don't just say, let's just be taking it as it goes. No. You have to position yourself like a big brand, even when you have just one store, or even when you are doing business from the corner of your room, you know. I hope that helps.
Thank you very much, sir.
You are very welcome.
Thank you for having me again.
You are very welcome.